Hello YouTubers and welcome. My name is Dan. I go under the username Chessplayerdan, and obviously I like playing chess. I play at two different chess websites. The first one is freechess.org. That's where I get in all my blitz games. To be honest, I suck on that website. My rating is 1080, but that's where I play my 3-minute and 5-minute games. The other chess site is chessmaniac.com. The time per move is much different. The time per move is days per move. You can do 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves, up to 14 days per move. Yes, it takes a long time to accomplish a game, but I got about 60 games going at once, so it keeps you active and going. I like playing those long games, though, because you really get to slow down and analyze your game and really get into depth with it. So you get some awesome games playing on that way. My rating on that site is 1506, so yeah, there's a big difference in my rating, mainly due to the fact of the time difference. So I'm trying to fix that by doing this, by analyzing my games, by trying to think faster, and just obviously just playing more games. Making this video so that I can improve on my chess. I want to analyze my mistakes and see what I could have done differently, and I'd love to get feedback from you guys, everyone watching my videos. Please feel free, comment, tell me that I'm a bad chess player, tell me that I did a silly move, tell me that I should have done something different. I'd love to get that feedback from you guys. Just be gentle, that's all I ask. Alright, well, this game, I was playing white. It's a really short game. It's about 8 or 9 moves. I was about 1480 at the time, and I was playing against Simone A. He was rated 1525. And it started out like this. I went to e4. He came back with e5. I brought out my knight to c3. He brought his knight to f6. I developed my bishop to c4, and bam. I wasn't paying attention. He took my pawn with his knight by moving to e4. No, this is not a stupid move on my opponent's part, because I can't simply just take that knight for nothing. I did not take the knight, but here, let me just show you what would have happened if I did take the knight. If I would have taken, bam, he comes down with d5, forking my bishop and my knight. His pawn is protected with his queen, so he'd be getting his piece back. And he just stole a pawn from me, so he's going to be up a pawn after he takes this. Let's analyze this really quick. Let's just see if there's any ways out of this, or what you should do in this kind of situation. Let's move the knight first. The knight has 2 moves that he can go to without being attacked. It's c3 and g3. I'm going to move to c3 because I think it's slightly better. Because after d-pawn takes my bishop on c4, the knight is preventing the pawn from advancing further and attacking my queen side pawn structure and messing it up. That's why it's slightly better than g3. Okay, so in that situation, I'm down a pawn. All right, let's see if we can move our bishop somewhere. Let's go, bam, bishop to b5, checking the king. Let's try and gain a tempo, move my knight around, see if I can wiggle my way out of this. Good idea, but it's not effective. Best move is c6, attacking both the bishop and the knight and getting out of the check. So that does me no good, really, either. So let's go back. Bear with me for just a second. I believe the best move here would be to move the bishop down to d3, because after the pawn takes the knight on e4, the bishop simply takes the pawn back. Now the material is even. Okay, I gain my pawn back, and I'm preventing this pawn from advancing any further by having my bishop there. So this is probably the best situation for this pawn fork outcome. So that's a long lecture as to why I didn't take the knight. It was Sorry, that was really long. Okay, so it actually progressed with me developing my knights to f3. Then he dropped his d5 pawn, and I moved my bishop back to b3. I moved back, and I didn't take it because I want to maintain this diagonal, and I want my bishop to be attacking this f7 square right here. I can take this pawn with my bishop, and it will be protected by my knight, or I can take it with my knight, and it will be protected by my bishop. But I don't want this bishop coming out here and forcing my pieces around. I'd rather just slink my bishop back in the corner so that I can mess with this pawn later and obtain this b3 to f7 diagonal. So my opponent developed his knight to c6, and that's when I decided to take d5 because I saw good outcome in this. So I'm attacking both the c6 knight, even though it's protected, and the undefended e4 knight. So this is a good move because if he doesn't take care of this knight, I take it for free. And if he doesn't move this knight, I get to attack it, putting the king in check, and he's forced to double up his pawns. I'm just going to show you that variation real quick. If, let's say my opponent does a silly move and goes bishop to d6, all right? That's when I take the knight. Well, I would have taken that knight, gaining a piece, but I'm just going to show you the variation with the doubled pawns. So I take his knight on c6, putting him in check. The only way for him to immediately take back on this bishop and to get out of check is to take it with his b pawn. Doubling his pawns, this ruins his queenside pawn structure and it'll give him problems in the endgame. I just really don't like getting the double pawns, and I like giving them to my opponents, this situation right here. So what really happened here? My opponent decided to take my knight on c3. This is a little bit of a tricky move because the general rule in chess is with your pawns, you're supposed to attack and take towards the center squares, these 4 squares right here. But it's a general rule. It's not a you always have to do that. And the reason is because if I take his knight with my b2 pawn, my bishop is undefended and his queen will take it. So I'm forced to take with my d pawn, and yes, I get the pawn structure that I don't like. But this way I get back the piece and I protect my bishop at the same time. So my opponent then goes to e7, and I thought that that was a weird move. Yeah, you're attacking my bishop, whatever. But after I analyzed it for a little while, it was actually a fairly good move because now he has a double threat on my bishop with his queen attacking and his knight attacking. And if I move the bishop, which I did not, but I will show you in a second, if I would have moved my bishop, let's say to the b3 square to get it out of that threat, then we get this nasty queen takes my queen check. I'm forced to take with my king, and now my king is exposed. It's on this huge d file, lots of open space around it. I'm not allowed to castle now. It's going to take me a couple moves to get to my king to a safe spot, and those are wasted moves because my opponent will take advantage and develop into an attacking position. So that's not really nice, and I don't want that to happen. So I took some time. It took about 3 days, and I just glanced at it every now and then, and I found a really good move. I want you to pause the video right now to see if you can tell me what the best move is for white in this situation. Okay, yes. The best move is to move the bishop to f7 check double exclamation point. The reason why I say that is because, well, why would you do that? You're just going to sacrifice your bishop. Well, let's just look at this really quick. The king is surrounded by his pieces. He's crowded. He can't really go anywhere. Okay, so he's in check. Let's say he just wants to avoid the bishop. He can't go here because my queen is attacking on d7. So his only possible move is to take the bishop. Okay, he wins a bishop, right? Well, bam. D8. Queen takes D8. He just lost his queen and gained a bishop. A queen is worth 9 points for material. A bishop is 3 points. So now the king is in big trouble. He lost his queen, his major piece. He moved, so he can't castle. He's heading towards the center. He moved in just once, but he's in a lot of trouble now. This is when my opponent resigned, and I hope you liked this little video. I thought that this game was fairly interesting, and I hope to be posting a new video very soon.